Hello, this is Chapter 2, Ethics and Social Responsibility in Business. And like every chapter, I'd really like you to read or thoroughly read these packets, but then I'm just going to go over and kind of clarify some things for about 10 to 15 minutes. Here are your objectives. So ethics is a study of right and wrong and of the morality of the choices individuals make. So regardless of their legality, all business decisions can be judged as right or wrong. So let's take a closer look at several ethical issues. First, we have fairness and honesty. The consequences of failing in this area can be expensive. Organizational relationships. Aside from the legality, businesses, customers, suppliers, or even investors can be harmed. Conflicts of interest. Can anyone think of some conflicts of interest that could occur at work? It could be a husband and wife working together or different family members. But really, anything given to a person that might unfairly influence that person's business decision is a bribe. All bribes are unethical. So bribes can come out of conflicts of interest quite often. And then communications. The FTC has issued guidelines on the use of labels. Here's a visual listing types of factors affecting ethics. So take a moment to read these and identify how these factors may influence your personal ethics. Ethics in decision-making can be encouraged by government, in trade associations, or even individual companies by the creation of the Code of Ethics. Here is a visual describing specific companies' code of ethics. Whistleblowing is now legally protected and definitely encourages ethical behavior. Take these 5 steps when making ethical decisions. First, listen and learn. Then identify the ethical issues. Next, create and analyze options. Then identify the best option from your point of view. And last, explain your decision and resolve any differences that arise. So now we're going to talk about social responsibility. Social responsibility is a recognition that business activities have an impact on society and the consideration of the impact in business decision making. Social responsibility is just good business. Contributing resources, knowledge, and products and money to help others in a crisis. And then the corporate citizenship balances the needs, desires, and demands of all stakeholders, including the community. And here's a list of the best corporate citizens out there, starting with Microsoft. Here's the evolution of social responsibility. And here are some early laws and regulations affecting American businesses. So there's 2 views of social responsibility. There's the economic model of social responsibility, and that view says if we concentrate on profit, everything else will thrive. And then there's the socio-economic model of social responsibility. There's a responsibility to customers, employees, suppliers, general public, and stockholders. So the first model, the economic model, focuses on making that money and everything else will follow. And then there's the socioeconomic model that just shows that there's that businesses have a responsibility to everyone around them. And here are the pros and cons of social responsibility. And this also provides a full picture of social responsibility. Here are the cons. Consumerism are all the activities undertaken to protect the rights of consumers. So first in the 1960s, John F. Kennedy came up with the Consumer Bill of Rights. The right to safety, the right to be informed, the right to choose, the right to be heard. Those all fall under John F. Kennedy's consumerism, the basic rights of consumers. And then in 1975, Gerald Ford added the right to consumer education. And then in 1994, Bill Clinton added the right to service. And the next 5 slides are a list of major legislation protecting consumers. And you'll probably recognize some of these. The Cigarette Labeling Act, the Credit Card Liability Act, Fair Credit Billing Act, Equal Credit Opportunity, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, the Do Not Call Implementation Act. So please take a moment to read about all of these different types of legislation. So public health. Many people believe that businesses also have a basic responsibility to contribute to the general well-being of the public. So beyond this basic responsibility, there is a contention with regard to how businesses' responsibility to public health extends, or how far it extends, especially about issues like obesity, smoking, heart disease, alcohol use, texting and driving. So everyone should have, and then employment practices. Everyone should have the opportunity to land a job for which he or she is qualified and to be rewarded on the basis of ability and performance. This graph identifies major income disparities between races. And here is a graph that identifies wage disparities between men and women. Women earn about 80 cents to each dollar men earn. So affirmative action programs. The goal to these programs is to ensure that minorities are represented within the organization at the same proportion as its surrounding community. Meaning if Mount Pleasant, Michigan has 20% minority citizens within its population, then the business that I own in Mount Pleasant, Michigan should have about 20% of their employees represent minorities. And then there's training programs for the hardcore unemployed. So when we talk about the hardcore unemployed, that's workers with little education or vocational training and a long history of unemployment. So usually we're talking about stay-at-home moms that have never worked outside of the home, or individuals with prison records, or people just coming out of prison, immigrants. They would be considered people, or considered in the group of hardcore unemployed. And then there's programs to reduce sexual harassment and abusive behavior. So environmental concerns. There's major environmental issues include the amount of waste produced by businesses and society. There's legislation and regulations that play a crucial role in pollution control. The next 3 slides contain a table listing major laws protecting the environment, and I'm sure you've heard of some of these. The Noise Control Act, the Clean Air Act Amendment, Oil Pollution Act, Clean Air Act, more Clean Air Act amendments, Food Quality Protection Act, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. There are several ways businesses can respond to environmental concerns. Here are the 4 steps to implementing a program of social responsibility. First, you've got to get the people on top of the business on board. So all the top executives, the board of directors, any of the top management, you need to get them to recognize the importance of social responsibility. Then you put some planning into it. You've got to appoint a director. Sometimes it may be a compliance officer. Or a social responsibility director. And then you prepare a social audit, which is a comprehensive report of what an organization has done and is doing with regards to social issues that affect it. And that is all.